So, what's the one thing that really makes a country a superpower? You might think it's all about nukes or a massive army, right? Well, what if I told you America's real secret weapon is something else entirely? Today, we're going to dive into this idea that its true power isn't about military might, but its incredible ability to be a magnet for talent from all over the world. So, let's just jump right in with a huge question. Can India ever become as rich as America? I mean, think about it. You've got the US economy sitting at a colossal $30 trillion, while India's is around $4 trillion. That gap is, well, it's massive. So what's the secret sauce? What really explains that difference? According to the analysis we're looking at, the answer has nothing to do with weapons or the US dollar. Nope. The real secret weapon is that it's a talent magnet. And the proof? You might not expect this. It's found in America's national cricket team, a team that's just packed with players of South Asian origin. Now, that cricket team is a great example of what's happening right now. But this strategy, it is not new. Not at all. In fact, you could argue it's literally the foundation the entire country was built on. Okay, so what do we even mean by a talent magnet? It's pretty simple, actually. It's this idea that a country's real strength comes from its power to attract the best and brightest people from every corner of the globe. You know, the ambitious ones, the skilled ones. These are the people who then stick around and build new industries, come up with game-changing innovations, and really shape the culture. And if you look back at American history, this has always been the story. The country was built wave after wave by immigrants. You had the Irish in the 1800s, who, yeah, faced a ton of prejudice, but went on to build the railroads. Then you had scientists and engineers fleeing Europe, who were absolutely crucial in making America a superpower. The faces change, the accents change, but the basic model? It stayed exactly the same.
Okay, so that's the history. But how does this all play out today, in the 21st century economy? Well, when you start looking at the numbers, their impact is, honestly, it's kind of staggering.
Right now, about 14% of the people living in the US were born somewhere else. Now, 14%, that might not sound like a mind-blowing number on its own, but wait till you see their economic impact. It is way bigger than you'd expect. Get ready for this number, 50%. Let that sink in. Half of the Fortune 500 companies, we're talking the absolute biggest corporations in America, were started by immigrants or their kids. I mean, that is just an unbelievable engine for creating jobs and driving the whole economy. And you don't have to look far for proof. Just think about the names. Google, co-founder from Russia. Microsoft, CEO from India. Tesla, CEO from South Africa. Intel, Nvidia. The list goes on and on. These are literally the companies that are defining the world we live in, and every single one has an immigrant at its core, either as a founder or a leader. It just goes to show you, America's economic team is filled with all-stars from all over the planet. And to really bring this home, the source tells the story of this guy, Saurabh Netravalkar. It's an amazing story. He was born in India, even played for their under-19 cricket team. But then he moves to the US for college, becomes a top engineer at a huge tech company, Oracle, and now he's the star bowler for the US cricket team. It's the perfect story of someone who found a unique opportunity in America that just wasn't there for him back home. So, okay, how does America do this? How do they turn all this talent into massive industries? Well, the source breaks it down into a pretty simple three-step formula. Step 1, find something people want. Doesn't matter if it's burgers or cricket. Step 2, build the system to give it to them. And step 3, get the political backing to take it global. Simple, right? Okay, but here's where the story takes a pretty sharp turn. Because that exact same system, the one that made America a superpower, well, according to this analysis, it's now facing a huge threat. And that threat is coming from the inside. You know, we all know the American dream. It's this big idea that anyone can make it if they work hard, that risk takers get rewarded. But it seems like that dream, that open door that made it such a talent magnet, well, it might be starting to swing shut. A really clear example of this is what's happening with the H-1B visa. This is the main way skilled workers come to the US. So the fee for this visa, which the company pays, used to be a few $1,000s. Now there's a proposal to raise it to over $100,000. I mean, for a company hiring a fresh college grad, that's like paying their entire salary for the first year, just for the visa. It's a huge barrier. And it's not just about the money. People trying to apply are saying they can't even get appointments for an interview. The slots are just gone. Some are getting dates as far away as 2027. Then you add in things like mandatory screening of all your social media accounts, and the message starts to become pretty clear, right? That wide open path for global talent, it's getting a whole lot narrower and a whole lot harder to walk. All right, so if that American dream is getting tougher to reach, what does that mean for a place like India? It kind of flips the script, doesn't it? It makes you ask, what can India learn from all this to build its own dream, an Indian dream? And the source makes a really strong point here. It says basically, stop complaining about brain drain. Instead of worrying about why people are leaving, you should be asking why they feel they have to leave in the first place. It's simple, really. People go where the opportunity is. The answer isn't to build a wall to keep them in, it's to build amazing opportunities so they want to stay. But there's a really cool, hopeful trend starting to pop up. The source has a fun name for it, Barbies. And no, we're not talking about the doll. It's an acronym for Bachelors Abroad and Return to Build in the Indian Ecosystem. So these are brilliant Indians who go get an education overseas, see how things work there, and then they come back home to start their own companies in India. And this isn't just a theory. It's actually happening. You've probably heard of some of these companies. Zepto, the super-fast grocery delivery app, Blue Tokai Coffee, Lenscart, all of them were founded by these Barbies. And listen, they're not just coming back because they're patriotic. They're coming back because they're smart. And they see India as the next massive economic opportunity. But to really make this work, the source argues there needs to be a bit of a mindset shift. It draws a pretty stark contrast. On one hand, you have the American ideal, which is all about taking risks and building something new from scratch. The question is, how can I be successful? But it points to a challenge in the Indian ecosystem, where the focus can sometimes be more on just getting your slice of the pie that's already there. The question becomes less about building and more about, how do I get my share? So that brings us to the final big question. If America's secret sauce was creating a dream so powerful it pulled in the whole world, what's it going to take to build the Indian dream? One where the best and brightest feel like they're rewarded, supported, and championed right there at home. Now that is the multi-trillion-dollar question, isn't it? Thanks for tuning in.